So this lesson relates to PowerPoint 5 and it's about mixed media and how you can have a bit of fun with plastic bags. So I've used Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's. This pink one here was something I ordered online and it came through. That was actually the inside of the bag, which was quite nice. I haven't got any of that left, unfortunately, to show you. You can also use stuff like this. This was something that was ordered online. It's got like quite a nice pattern on there that you could use sections of it for like things like leaves or whatever. It's nice and thick. You want to think about maybe your thick being on the back and your thinner stuff being at the front. If you have a look at these two examples here, you can see how the thinner plastic, which was the Marks and Spencer's bag, has, as the particles have melted and dispersed, you've got little holes, which is quite cool, and then you've got the colour coming through the back. So you do have to be careful how much heat you put on there, because you put too much and that happens. You don't want that happening. Well, you might want that happening. It looks like a leaf that's like more of an autumn leaf, doesn't it, which is quite cool. But if you don't want that happening, don't put too much heat on it. Right, okay, so what you need to do to start off with is, if you are doing something like a leaf, the main bit that you need to create a template for is probably, if you want them to be similar, is the veins down the middle. Now you can just freestyle this and draw it down the middle and cut it out, but it is easier to create a template, especially if you decide you want to make some more of these. So what I did was, first of all, cut out my leaf shape. So you can either draw around the template, or you can just, as I said, freestyle it on there with your several layers piled up. Okay, when you cut it out, make sure you've got several pins, you see, like I've done with this one. Before I cut it out, let's put that there. Before I cut it out, I put in some pins around the outside and one in the middle to stop it from slipping and moving around. Okay, so that's that cut out, and I've done quite a few at the same time. So I've done 5 there at the same time. You can do, I think the most I did in one go was about 6. It slips a bit too much if you do any more than that. But if you do a few at the same time, it's obviously not only going to save you time, but they're going to be, if you want them to be the same size, they're going to be the same size. Now that also helped with this. So this one here, after I drew round with my template, see I've put a little bit of masking tape there, so I held it down like that with the masking tape, and I used a Sharpie to draw around the outside. Okay, so I drew around the outside like that. You probably would need to hold it as well at the same time while you're going round. Obviously, when you peel it off, you'll have that bit, but you just, just complete your lines basically. Okay, so once you've done that, then what I did was, before I cut this out, I made sure that I still had my pins around the outside, and I also had 2 pins down the centre of this, holding it all together, so that when I cut it out, it didn't move around too much. Okay, so I was careful. You can just quickly cut it out and not worry too much about keeping the outside, but I've kept the outside because it's quite nice to do some like kind of opposites, so that you've got the outside colour and you've got the inside colour like that. Okay, so if you do that, you can make the most, you can use both pieces. You've got minimum amount of waste, and you've also got lots of bits to play with. So let's have a little play with some different bits and pieces. So this is where the greaseproof paper comes in that I put into your pack. So that's the greaseproof paper that I put in your pack. You will probably want to use this when you do your bond webbing as well, so don't chuck it away after this. So what you need to do, you need to maybe put down green and then the pink on top, or whatever colour you've cut out. I'll do that one at the same time, and I'll do an opposite one as well. So do an orange, and maybe I'll see what it looks like if I put green. So this is my outside bit, so kind of your negative and your positive. Put that away. And I'm going to put that down the middle of that, or around the outside I should say, of that. Okay. So I want to curl up. It'll be a little bit fiddly, but I'm sure you'll manage. Alright, so when you put that on top, you might want to use, it might just go down, but you see how that's folded, can you see through, can you see where that's folded back a little bit? You might want to just like put a pen in there or use a set of scissors just to make sure that those things lie flat. Sometimes it can look quite interesting if it doesn't lay flat, but personally I prefer it to lay flat. Okay, that one's okay, that one's laid nice and flat. So you can see through this, you can get an idea whether or not it's how you want it or not. When you start with the iron, just move your other bits of plastic out of the way, because otherwise you probably end up hitting them by mistake. So I'll just put that over there a little bit. And then just pop the iron over the top. Okay, so don't hold it on there for too long. So some of my little bits have moved. You can see through what's going on. You can see it start to curl up. The thinner plastic's curling up more than the thicker plastic. So the pink's kind of keeping its form because that's the stuff that's thicker. Okay. You can turn it over if you want to get, so if you want to aim your heat a little bit more at the thinner stuff on the back, you can push it down a little bit more. But don't go too crazy with it because it will melt up a bit too much and go like that. Okay, you could always have one example for your book. It might be quite nice to have one like that. Okay, so that'll do me. So I've just got this on full temperature. It doesn't matter as long as you haven't got it like straight on the actual plastic, because obviously then you'll be in serious trouble with your parents for burning a load of plastic on the bottom of the iron. Right, wait for it to cool down. You can speed up that process by giving it a little rub. Or you can just be patient and wait. Up to you. Okay, once it's cooled down, you see how it's sort of curling? You can actually hear it cracking. Well, if I wasn't talking, you would have heard it cracking. Alright, and then you're going to pull it back. And you can peel off your leaves like that. So that orange one, I quite like that. It's a bit more abstract, where I put the negative on the outside. Positive, the negative. And then there's that one as well. So they're all a little bit different. Okay, that one's actually quite interesting, where it's bent back a little bit. Really like the edging on that, where it's melted, and then you've got like the perfect pink in the middle of that one. That one's quite interesting. It's still got some of the Sharpie pen on the edge of it as well, which is where it's shrunk, it's kind of intensified a little bit. And I like the holes that are through the middle of it as well, which you can probably just see. Okay, so that is mixed media with plastic bags, which is something that you'll have at home. So, and you've got the paper that I've sent through to you, so you can do that. You can obviously then hand stitch and work back into some of these. Okay, really show how you've developed and refined your ideas. Obviously, it doesn't have to be leaves; it can be whatever you want to. I will show you some more mixed media at a later date using bags and working back into it with layers, but that'll keep you going for now. All right, bye.